Hello, this is Rory with the Love Chat, and today's topic is the bright side of a breakup. Now, this is video number 28. If you have a question you'd like for me to consider featuring on the channel, please write it in a comment below, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and hit like so that the channel can grow and reach more heartbroken people. Additionally, I have started a Twitter account for updates on videos and when they come out and when I'm sick and things like that, so if you are so inclined, please follow at twitter.com/thelovechat. Now then, the bright side of a breakup. I bet this is something you never thought you guys would hear me talk about. But, the more that I hear about people's situations and I compare it to my own situation, it's so funny because, breakups at the time that they're happening to us seem horrible, like one of the worst things that could happen to us. And yet it takes a long time and a lot of self-improvement and growth to be able to turn back and say, that breakup was the best thing that ever happened in my life. And that breakup shot me into all these new projects and really made me take a good look at myself and ask if I was happy with me. And, it really is true that when we say a breakup motivates you to do things and to reach new heights that maybe you didn't even think was possible. And, ultimately, I can only ever draw from my own life as an example. When I went through my breakup, I think it was probably one of the most painful things I've ever gone through because it makes you feel like less than. And yet I wonder how many people, after the fact, turn around and say, that was a completely necessary thing to happen to me. During the time when you're going through all the emotional turmoil, of course you're not going to say that. You're going to think, why me? You're going to strategize and think about how to get them back and how that, how this nightmare can be undone. And yet how many of us stop and think, is this happening for a reason? Obviously, we don't want to believe that the person broke up with us because of some flaw with us or because of something that couldn't be worked on. And many of us say, fine, yeah, you know what? There's a lesson I had to learn here, but I could have learned that lesson without losing this person. And I wonder how many of us turn back and truly look at this situation introspectively and say, that was completely necessary for my growth as a person. Again, I can only draw from my own personal experiences, but for me, I don't think I would have learned unless I had gone through a breakup. I wasn't taking care of myself emotionally or physically or socially. I was just kind of coasting through life, waking up, going to work, coming home, maybe getting takeout, and hanging with my significant other. And obviously, it's not a good thing that I was doing to myself, but I was so in my own little bubble that I don't think even direct comment from my partner would have snapped me out of it. I think that in my case, I needed to be broken up with to understand the gravity of my life and to basically be forced to look at my life and say, here's what's going on. Your situation was not a good one. You needed this in order to grow. Now, did I lament the fact that I didn't have a relationship anymore? Of course. Was I hurt because my partner walked away? Sure. But we have to remember that the person that we're with is a living, breathing person with their own wants and needs, and all too often we make them the object of our love and focus on how they may serve us and how they may go about making us more happy, rather than us viewing it as both parties coming to the relationship to give and to grow. In other words, the relationship has to be mutually beneficial in order for it to continue. And so I wonder how many of you turn inwards and say, you know what, the breakup served as a symptom because something in my life is going wrong. Something in my life's not working, and here's a call to action to fix whatever's not happening in the way it should be happening. All of this said, I can't stress enough that it's important to realize that you're not going to feel this way the first week, second week, maybe even the first 2 or 3 months of the breakup. At first, you're going to look only after what you've lost and not what insight you've gained. But what I urge you to do is to work on yourself and become the best version of yourself that you can be. Because nobody's going to put meaning to your breakup unless you do, right? And so becoming the best version of yourself and working on yourself physically and spiritually, socially, and whatever way is important to you, that is a moment of forming character during a time that you and I can't control. Listen, you can come to me for coaching and I can give you the best advice that I think, and I can, only make guesses at what I think will happen, but ultimately, you are the one in control of you. So while I can advise you, you are the one that has to do these things. Because neither you, nor I, nor Craig Kenneth or Corey Wayne or Brad Browning or any of these people on YouTube have any control over your breakup and the person who broke up with you. We only have control over ourselves. And so that has to be our goal and our focus. It's important that you guys know that we must turn internally during this time. We have to make this breakup mean something. Because to ignore a breakup and to continue the status quo when we've lost a loved one means we haven't grown as a person. And the breakup happened in the first place because something in our life has been stunting our growth, and it said enough. Now, of course, every situation is unique and different, and so I can't speak to every situation. But more often than not, maybe 95% of the time, something in our lives is not moving or growing in the way that it should be. And so it's our goal to find out what that is and look it in the eye and say, no more. I'm going to change this about myself. This is something about myself that made me unhappy, and I'm going to change it because I want to live a happy and fulfilling life. And when your ex does come back, and when they do reach out, they're going to notice these changes, and the best part is, you won't even have to say it. It will be apparent in your attitude, but you cannot try and fool anybody, okay? Exes pick up on that stuff. These have to be real, lasting changes. These can't be changes that you work on for a couple of months and then you stop. These have to be changes that you make for the rest of your life, because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with you for the rest of your life. That's all I had for today. If you found my video helpful, I'd be very grateful if you'd subscribe and hit like. Definitely leave a comment below and tell me what topics you'd like covered in the future. Also, if you'd like to do a Skype coaching or email coaching, definitely be sure to email me at thelovechat@gmail.com. Until next time.